As I mentioned, there's a professor who's predicted the winner of every single presidential election since 1984. He often does it months or even years ahead of time. But he says this election may be tougher to predict than all the rest. He says the polls, speeches, ads, and debates do not matter in his equation. Instead, he uses 18 factors, which he calls keys, to figure out whether the incumbent party will keep the White House. The keys include the charisma of the incumbent party candidate, the charisma of the challenger, whether a scandal is affecting the current administration, and whether there's a significant third-party candidate. Professor Allan Lichtman joins us now. He's a distinguished professor of history at American University and author of Predicting the Next President, The Keys to the White House. Allan, thank you.
My pleasure to be on.
Professor, why is it so hard this time?
It's so hard this time because my system is based on history, and it's primarily based upon 13 keys that gauge the strength and performance of the party holding the White House. And structurally, right now, the keys look like they might be leaning slightly against the incumbent Democrats, contrary to all the pundits. But we have a precedent-shattering candidate in Donald Trump who is making it very difficult to call the keys. Let me give you an example. One of the most important keys is whether or not there is a major contest for the incumbent party nomination, the Democrats. Well, it certainly looked like there was a big contest between Sanders and Clinton, but have so many Democrats been horrified by the prospect of a Trump presidency that the Clinton-Sanders contest doesn't matter anymore, and you can't call that key against the Democrats.
But this has worked all the other times.
This has worked every time and usually years ahead of time. I called the very difficult to call 2012 election in 2010. In fact, I had a big fight with Nate Silver, who said, you can't call an election that early. But I could. But it shows just how unusual this election year is. We also have a very unusually fluid international situation. One of my important keys, again, is whether or not the incumbent administration, the Democrats, achieve a major success in foreign or military policy. Right now they haven't. But can they achieve a big enough success in the campaign against ISIS, say driving them out of Iraq, that might count? Can Obama convince the American people, which he hasn't done so far, that the Iran nuclear deal is a big success? Here's my advice to Obama. Forget conventional campaigning. Sell a foreign policy success. He's not running, but he's campaigning. And remember, it's the evaluation of the party holding the White House, not just the sitting president, who's, of course, not running.
What does a 4-hour trip to Mexico do?
I don't think it does anything. You know, it's a photo op. It's going to fade away. Nobody's going to count that as anything of importance. Much more important for Trump is his speech on immigration tonight. But again, my keys do not depend upon the day-to-day events of the campaign. And you also have the possibility of a significant third party.
Yeah.
Is Gary Johnson a flash in the pan, or is he going to last? If he gets into the debates, that third party key turns against the Democrats. If not, it probably doesn't.
Professor Allan Lichtman from American University. Always fun. Thank you.
Great fun, Shep. Take care.